A transfer window full of shocks and twists and drama and turns does not disappoint on the final day of the season. Just as we thought Marc Guehi, England's best defender, was going to be announced as a Liverpool player, it felt like his natural progression. It felt like being part of the champions elect, playing for Arne Slot, becoming part of this Virgil van Dijk backline was in his destiny. It has been cruelly snatched away. It's a really sad day for Marc Guehi. For Liverpool, this particular thing, it's not good news for them, but I don't think it's quite as troubling as some people are making out. I don't think it's good news that Guehi's not a Liverpool player. I think Guehi is an exceptional talent, somebody who I rate incredibly highly, somebody who's shone for England, somebody who is ready to step up and be tested against the very best, somebody who guided Crystal Palace to silverware, and somebody who was clearly ready for the elevation in his career, the elevation in what was expected of him, and ready for that challenge. It has been cruelly snatched from him. For Liverpool, though, I don't really think it massively matters. It's not good news when you don't sign an England international, but I've seen it being portrayed as being like disastrous news. Maybe a needle mover, maybe a chink in the armour of Liverpool, maybe good news for Arsenal. And I really do not think it's that. Of course they would have been stronger with him. He's an exceptional talent. He's England's best centre-half. He's clearly capable of playing at the very top. But I believe that Liverpool easily cope with this. I don't think that this is going to be a drama for Liverpool at all. They have already at their disposal the best centre-half in Europe. Virgil van Dijk is already a Liverpool player. He is playing some of the best football of his career. He is ready to be the anchor of this new look, rejuvenated Liverpool team. They also have Konate, and I think that people have been very snide about Konate. I think that Konate is undoubtedly a top-class player. Look at his performance. I know that there have been shaky moments for him this season, but look at his performance, the performance that he put in against Arsenal. I thought that he was mega. I thought he was a colossus. I thought he was immense. And there is no doubt that a Virgil van Dijk, Konate partnership is totally capable of winning the league. Konate's performance was bullying. It was commanding. It was everything that you want from a centre-half. He showed Victor Gyökeres down the channel when he wanted him to go down the channel. He bullied him when he needed to be bullied. And anything that Arsenal hoofed into the box was dealt with at ease by Ibrahima Konate. Whatever happened, it was totally looked after by Konate. If Arsenal crossed in the ball, he stuck his head on it. If Victor Gyökeres needed to be bullied, he was bullied. If Arsenal crossed in even a Range Rover, he would have stuck his head on it. If they crossed in a washing machine, he would have stuck his head on it. It was a win-at-all-cost performance, a commanding performance, an immense performance. And I think that Konate is an excellent player. There is no doubt. I also rate Gomez really highly. I really do. I remember a few years back when there was that kind of bromance between Van Dijk and Joe Gomez. They seemed to have that real sort of friendship going on. And they were a class act together. It seemed to really work, the pair of them. So again, when called upon, I think Joe Gomez is an excellent option. And they obviously signed that Leone, who has just been called up to the Italian national team. So I feel like there's cover. Equally, I feel like there's kind of more cover than that. You know, if things get desperate, if they need emergency cover, if there is an injury crisis at the back. I remember fairly recently listening to Arne Slot speaking about the properties that Ryan Gravenberch has at centre-half, thinking about the qualities that Endo has at centre-half. Now, I'm not saying that this is something that they should look forward to. I'm not saying that this is something that they should strategically play for. But I am saying that there is enough utility in this Liverpool squad to get them to January. Because my hunch is that in January, Crystal Palace will allow Marc Guehi to become a Liverpool player. They will allow Guehi to leave when cover can be secured because a deal was done. Like, the fee was agreed. 35 million quid was agreed. Personal terms were not an issue and the medical was passed. Everything that you need to sign a player had happened. Marc Guehi was destined for Liverpool. Marc Guehi was going to join the Arne Slot revolution. Marc Guehi was going to become part of this almost Galactico-like Liverpool team that are destined for true greatness. And to be totally frank with you, I was pleased for Guehi. I think he's done brilliant things at Crystal Palace. But I like him. I like the way that he plays the game. I think he's a brilliant player. And I have a soft spot for him because of his Chelsea links. And I think that he was ready for this challenge. But things didn't go his way. It was just circumstance. You know, Crystal Palace couldn't sign the replacement. They wanted that Igor Julio from Brighton. But ultimately, he's turned down the move. He's going to go to West Ham on loan instead. And as a result, Crystal Palace have no cover. And Crystal Palace therefore could not allow him to leave. I think it got really heated. Word on the street that it got really heated between Steve Parish and Oliver Glasner. Oliver Glasner had said that he will quit if Marc Guehi is ultimately allowed to leave. So they had to do everything that they can in their power to keep hold of Guehi. And you can understand from Crystal Palace's point of view, Guehi's one of the best players that have ever played for that club in that position. So they were desperate to keep hold of him. Of course they were. But I believe that the way that they can kind of smooth this over is to keep him for now, keep him until they have time to find a replacement, keep him until the January transfer window when a replacement will be secured. And at that point, assuming that Liverpool still want the deal to go ahead, Liverpool will sign him. And they will sign him for a nicely discounted price. I mean, I think that they will end up paying something like 20 million quid. Like, I'm not saying this is good news for Liverpool today, but Liverpool have had a glorious window, and I think that this long term could actually work in their favour. They're ultimately going to sign England's best centre-half for about 20 million quid. An England international for 20 million quid. An elite level centre-half for 20 million quid. It's not bad news, but I do think that there is almost an overarching issue here. Like, Marc Guehi has been the model professional. He has been professionalism personified. The alternative would be to be Alexander Isak. There are two ways of approaching a strategy of leaving a club. You dedicate your time, you dedicate your life to that club, you do everything that you can in your power, you let them know that you want to leave, but you don't agitate for a move, you don't rock the boat, you are totally professional and the fans will idolise you forever. And if you get your move, things are perfect. Or you can adopt the Alexander Isak model. Now, what I'm going to say here won't be popular, and I will imagine that I'll get a lot of stick for this. But Alexander Isak did the right thing. Alexander Isak totally did the right thing. You cannot be passive in this moment. Your career as a footballer is incredibly precious. It's incredibly short, and you need to strike while the iron's hot. You need to carpe the diem. And if you get the opportunity of joining the most exciting sporting project in world football, you simply need to do everything in your power to make it happen. Your ambition needs to drive you to make that happen. Now, Alexander Isak, what he did wasn't particularly nice. It doesn't necessarily paint him in the most positive colour. It doesn't look particularly good from the outside looking in. But Alexander Isak is now part of the champions elect. Alexander Isak is now ready to call Mohamed Salah not only an icon, but a teammate. He is ready to call Arne Slot not only an icon, but gaffer. He is ready to call Virgil van Dijk not only the best centre-half in Europe, but a teammate and captain. And that is because he agitated. That is because he forced his way out of the club. That is because his ambition didn't allow him to fall on his sword. His ambition forced him out of the club. And I think that there is something in that. And I think players need to learn from that. We have seen situations where players are quite passive. They admit that they want to leave, but they're passive. Harry Kane sat at Tottenham for 3 years too long. Imagine if Harry Kane had forced his way out of that contract that he signed for Daniel Levy. He had sacked his brother and he had got an agent in to get him out of that contract. Harry Kane would now have a Ballon d'Or. I truly believe that. He would have joined Pep Guardiola's revolution. He would have won a treble. He would have scored 1 billion goals. He would already have the 260 Premier League goal scoring record, and he would have a Ballon d'Or because he would have won a treble. All of those goals that were scored for Tottenham that ultimately counted for nothing did him no favours. He would have scored more than Erling Haaland, I truly believe it. And as a result, he would have destiny. He would have legacy. There would be a pocket of North London that would hate him. There would be a pocket of North London that would despise him and call him Judas. But so what? He would have got his move. The Gallagher end will forever boo Alexander Isak. But Alexander Isak is now going to be part of a team that, in my opinion, accrue more than 100 points this year. I think that this version of Liverpool under Slot is going to break record after record after record. And Marc Guehi is not part of it. Marc Guehi has conducted himself with aplomb, with decorum, with etiquette, with politeness, but has ultimately not got what he wanted out of the situation. And instead of that, he is now stuck at Palace, and I am, on some level, truly, truly gutted for him. But it's a boost for Palace. It's a boost for Glasner. And, with European football this season too, who knows where they could go. If they get out of the group phase, they might even be more reluctant to let him go unless an agreement is done. And that agreement will have to happen on paper. People will be trying to say, and I've seen it written quite a lot, that this could suggest that there's a chink in the armour of Liverpool. This could open the door, maybe, for Arsenal with regard to their title credentials, and I just don't see it. This Liverpool team are totally capable of dealing with this issue. Like, the players at Liverpool are totally capable of handling this issue. Of course they want Guehi. Of course, on some level, they need Guehi because everyone needs Guehi because he is England's best centre-half. But Konate is a wicked player. And I rate Gomez. I rate Gomez really highly. And overall, you have to look at the ebb and the flow of a transfer window. You have to look at the natural sway of a transfer window. And this transfer window for Liverpool will go down in history as one of their best. Comparable to the very best. When they signed Beardsley, Barnes, Aldridge, it's that kind of transfer window. It's a kind of transfer window that sets them up for legacy. It's the kind of transfer window that puts this team in a comparative light to the team that did so well in the late 70s and the early 80s, the Souness, Hansen, Clements and Dalglish team. It really was a perfect window for them, apart from this final day. I mean, I guess you could say that one weakness for Liverpool so far has been conceding goals, and I guess he would have made them unstoppable. But ultimately, Liverpool are going to be just fine. And I believe that he will get his move. But, you know, the transfer window is now over. And what a summer it has been. What a summer it has been. Liverpool have had a near perfect window. And I don't think that we should let the fact that they couldn't get the Guehi deal over the line put a negative spin on the transfer window as a whole for the club. Frimpong, Kirkes, Wirtz, Ekitike, and then the jewel in the crown, Alexander Isak. Okay, they missed out on Guehi. But let's be real, this is the perfect window. They were the champions-elect, and they have got stronger. They finished 10 points above Arsenal last year, and they have surpassed Arsenal in the window. They have got so much stronger. And my bold or fairly reasoned prediction, depending on your perspective, is that this Liverpool team accrue 100 points. And I don't even think it's that far wide of the mark. I don't think it's even that bold. Antonio Conte's team, with Victor Moses and Marcos Alonso, managed to accrue 93 points. You're telling me that this Liverpool team, under the tutelage and brilliance of Arne Slot, with icons like Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk in the team, aren't capable of securing 100 points? I don't even think it's a long shot. Frimpong, Kirkes, Wirtz, Ekitike and Isak. And making money, selling players at the right time, moving on Luis Diaz, moving on Darwin Núñez. I think overall, it's a perfect window. Tinged a touch with a little bit of sadness, perhaps, because they couldn't quite get the Marc Guehi deal over the line. But I think Guehi will become a Liverpool player. It's just not going to happen today. And, I mean, the lesson that we're being taught here is agitate. In fact, the lesson isn't agitate. The lesson is release clause. Every player release clause. It is so important. But if you don't have a release clause, you've got to agitate. You only get one career. And when you get the opportunity to play for a behemoth like Liverpool, Isak did the right thing. You're playing for one of the most glorious footballing institutions in the world. You're playing for a team of icons. You're playing for the most exciting sporting project in world football. Isak had to make it happen. Guehi chose a different path, and sadly for him, hasn't got there. But the night is young, and I believe that Guehi will be announced as a Liverpool player in a few months' time. That is my hunch on the matter. They will allow Crystal Palace to secure a replacement, and ultimately Marc Guehi will become a Liverpool player. Let me know what you think. I feel a bit gutted for Guehi, and I don't really think that it's going to open up. You know, people are going, well, it opens up the title race, it opens up the Premier League. Liverpool still win the league by 15 points next season. I'm convinced. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please click subscribe. And I really do look forward to seeing what you have to say on this matter. The window is closed. We can now make true, educated decisions and predictions and analyse exactly how we think the season will go. Let me know your thoughts. Flex your analytical football muscle and let me know how you think it will go. We can now do a title table prediction based on fact. There is no jeopardy now. It is what it is until January. In a bit. Ta-da.